Hi HGTV, I'm Vanessa.
And I'm Josh. Welcome to our 1926 Tudor.
We are currently in the living room. There are so many unique features to this space. We fell in love with a lot of different details, some being the plaster walls, which are difficult, but we figured out how to work with. I particularly love our gallery wall though. I'm a bit of a art hoarder, I would say, and I love filling our walls with unique pieces, whether they are from current artists, past artists, or it's just something random I found at an antique mall. The fireplace is one of the more unique pieces of the living room and honestly was a huge selling point for us when deciding to purchase this house. We walked in and immediately saw the plaster detailing. There's florals, there's actually some English roses in here, which is very connected to the 1926 kind of English Tudor style of this home as well. There is a coat of arms, which I don't actually know the story behind, but I like to believe maybe it's connected to the original family of the house, because who else puts a coat of arms unless it's your family history?
So currently we have three beings living in this home. My beautiful wife, Vanessa, myself, and our dog, Kona. He is a 14-and-a-half-year-old Shiba Inu. Fun fact is, we're only the fifth family to take possession of this home over its 100-year history. And we're so honored to be here, and we want to be great stewards for it for the foreseeable future as well.
So this is actually a really unique portion of the living room and something I love sharing with people. These are the original blueprints to this home. They were all passed from owner to owner, and we're the fifth. And so for me, the fact that 5 different families managed to keep these intact and ensure that they were passed to the next steward of the house is so incredible. Like, I get goosebumps thinking about it. We have unraveled all of them and taken a look, and it's just really cool to see the notes and the dates, and I thought it'd be really fun to make a little architectural bouquet. This is our sunroom. Again, another just like incredible selling point when we toured this house for the first time. This is not original to the 1926 plans, but this was an addition by the second owner of the house in the late 40s. They basically wanted a space where they could enjoy summer activities in the winter in Michigan. So there are ingrown garden beds here. They go to about 3 feet deep. So they grew everything from strawberries to potatoes to just general plants. And it's one of a kind. I've truly never seen anything like it. The Detroit Free Press actually did an article on this room as the first of its kind in Michigan in the early 50s. So it's really cool to have the history here. In addition to the ingrown beds, they actually had a wood burning oven. Think of like a kitchen for the winter times. It's now houses our TVs for game nights and movie nights, but there were burners here, so the family could cook food, have barbecues, things of that sort in the dead of Michigan winter, which is really cool. So we do also have a secret sink here, and this is what I was assuming they used to fill their pots with water, but it's just an old 50s sink, but it's hidden, and I thought that was so interesting. I use it now to fill water to water my plants, and it's really convenient. I can say the hot and cold doesn't quite work, but I get what I get, and I appreciate the fact that it's here. This part of the wall was one of the first projects we did when we moved into this house. It is in fact wallpaper, although we have had many guests think it was painted, and Josh hilariously tells them that he did it. He did not. But it was a labor of love getting this wallpaper up. We'd never done a project like that, so I actually had my in-laws come over and they assisted, but it just matched the room so perfectly. And this is actually the only wall in this room. Everything else in this space is windows. So we wanted something unique and interesting, and that went with the vibe of this weird all-season green room. So this room has heated concrete floors, which was really cool and actually quite a surprise to us purchasing the home. I think it stays in line with wanting to keep things warm during the winter season, but it's radiant heat under here, and that's actually how the whole house is heated, with the original boiler system and radiators. I would consider this the entry. It's kind of the welcome to both sides of the home. You go to the living room on your left and the dining on your right, but I wanted this space to also be filled with unique, interesting things. I just love the idea that when you walk into someone's home, your eye goes everywhere. I accidentally won this at auction. I have a history of purchasing things while drinking wine, and I was looking at an auction site one night, saw this really cool bronze looking Roman soldier and thought the price was amazing. It was under $100. I assumed it was tabletop size. I also have a really bad habit of not measuring things before I purchase them. I won, and when they called me to let me know when I could pick it up, they said, make sure you have muscle with you or you have someone to bring it out of the building. And that was my first shock and awe moment to find out that this was a 4-foot, 400-pound Roman soldier. And now he greets everyone at the door. Next is going to be our dining room, which is a room I am incredibly proud of. This room was actually very controversial when we first moved in. It was a nice shade of butter yellow, and I knew I'd always wanted a color-drenched, rich space. So I decided I was going to have it painted this stunning deep green, and everyone, including my painter, thought it was an awful idea. But I had a vision, and I knew what I wanted, and I wanted a green ceiling and high gloss trim and just a moody, elevated space, and it turned out better than I imagined. This is one of my prized auction finds. I don't know the original artist, there is a signature though, but it was painted in 1913. And something about this piece just stuck out to me, whether it was her posture or the color tones, or just this insanely ornate frame. It's over 100 years old and I had to have it. So this is our powder bathroom, and I had a vision for this being that kind of swanky, moody, cool vibe that you get when you go to a cool hotel or a fun bar or restaurant. It was a blank canvas, literally gray walls, white ceiling, and not a lot of charm. So this was one of our first big DIYs. We put the wallpaper up ourselves, replaced all of the lighting and the plumbing features, and just gave it this really fun vibe. We host a lot of parties, specifically cocktail parties, and my guests always tell me how dizzy they get looking at this wallpaper. But I also really love the fact that I found a fun piece of art to place in here. So many people get creeped out by this, and that makes me love it even more. I joke that he's the bathroom attendant. So you come to a party at the Gratz house and you have dizzy walls and a bathroom attendant. I call this the upstairs gallery wall. I mean, it's just, in my humble opinion, it's extraordinary. This was also a space where I thought wallpaper would have looked really cool, but the plaster walls just wouldn't allow me to do it without taking them down, harming the history of this home. So adding as much art as humanly possible was my go-to here. And it's not just your traditional art, your picture, your painting. It's a little bit of everything, unique pieces, different textures, taxidermy. I just wanted it to be something that I was really proud to show off. This is a vintage scarf of my grandmother's. It was like a belt scarf she used when she worked back in England, and my mom happened to still have it, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna tie it in a bow and hang it on the wall. And it's actually a really fun conversation piece. Almost everyone that comes to the house asks me about it, and I love that it has a connection to our family heritage.
So we're currently in my office. This is our latest project that just got completed. Really, really excited about it. I spent a lot of time in here as I work from home, and I wanted to have it as a space that was kind of like Hemingway-esque, if you will. Kind of from inception, I wanted to put wood paneling, wainscoting, and was looking for how to do it affordably. So there's a restaurant called Fratello's. It'd been around for 40 years. I had homecoming dinners there, prom dinners. Unfortunately, they shuttered. So the restaurant was done entirely in wainscoting and oak. We connected with the owner of the building and asked if we could just remove it because it's sitting there. We worked out a deal, and myself, my father, my brother, my brother-in-law went in one day and literally pulled out 300 square feet of the red oak, crown molding, toe, everything, and then we recut it to then match and fit in this room. So a lot of labor of love in here, but again, something we're really proud of, and I love how it lives on. This is our dedicated spare room. This space, we wanted to make sure that anytime we have guests in town, we do host a lot, that they stayed in a room that felt like a boutique hotel. So we kept the color drenching consistent from the dining room. Vanessa picked the color, she kind of designed the room Cool thing about this is my mother actually came over and helped Vanessa paint it. Really great to live by family, get that free labor. A lot of the furniture that you'll see in all of our rooms, but in this room specific, Vanessa found on Facebook Marketplace. I have the lucky task of going to pick it up and then find a way to get it into the room. Also, anything that she decides to swap out. Light fixtures, blinds, curtains. I say that facetiously. It's great, it's teamwork, and then we get to have a beautiful product like this room for people to enjoy. We are in Vanessa's office. So around the room, you'll see different cuts of picture frame molding is what it's called. So I got to learn how to do that, and you can definitely tell I learned on this room. Here's an example. This one starts lower than this one. So I definitely was learning on the appropriate measurement of the boxes and how to cut them. And then you'll see kind of in this back corner here as well, you have to use a protractor, and you know, I hadn't used a protractor since about 6th grade, so it was a really fun experiment.
Thank you so much for visiting.
Come back anytime.